Wali set their standards. Na si tukaziembrace like fools. Barely full of ourselves, we empty dust into them and give them the power to define and devour us. Give them the ability to even tell us what it means to be us like a curse. We started to see the color of our skins. The color of our skins is to be a thing of praise and beauty, and instead, the color of our skins, they convinced us is something to be ashamed of. Made us think they came in peace, yet they came to wage war. A war of the minds. To fool us out of the riches of our lands, they landed on the deepest and the darkest parts of us. And like an enemy ready to strike, they waited patiently, dividing and denying us the power of free will. You know, tell them it was the idea, just so they don't realize we're actually stealing from them. So like fools that we ain't, history will remember us. How on that fateful day we were fooled, allowed to find esteem in only what they called good. Those cold-blooded enemies that slept into us and did us damage with no mercy, found the nature of the corruptible in us, and they enjoyed pulling the strings as we foolishly and blackishly danced to their tunes. Fine tunes you call it. Fine lady, fine job, and it ain't successful if it went white collar. But what about our black collars? Shall we combat God for lavishly blessing us with melanin? And then came the millennial mistake. How they knew they can't kill us, at least not directly. So they poisoned the younger us, the younger generation, so that our tomorrow is only great if it is great in their eyes. They didn't teach us to be like us. They taught us to be like them. So an African kid grows to be of age, ashamed of his origin. Until T'Challa, son of T'Chaka, a black superhero, raised like a white man, rose to tell us what a black can be, that a black can be a hero. But who would have known that they were still on to fooling us but foolish us? They taught us how to be black through the panther. They told us what and who we are, but they don't know us, and neither are they gods over us. Who we are is up to us to let God decide. So like a black man is a Christian, and the white demons devoured him, left him scarred and wounded in an attempt to kill the God-love effect on mankind. Just so none of us can be kind. Who would have known that every time we didn't pray to God through the Messiah, we lost it? That every time we didn't pray, the enemy preyed upon us. That every time we lusted after the ungodly, the aroma of the ungodly will taste so good on our tongues that we will forget what it meant to be God's own children. And no, it didn't mean we ceased to be His. It didn't mean we ceased to be His. It just meant we stop believing that we are His. Children not born of human will, neither of man nor of manhood, but of God in the Spirit. The demons, they aren't powerful against us because we got the name to which all in heaven and on earth bowed down to. But they were cunning, and they managed to fool us into being powerless, having the godliness but not the power therein. But God, in His loving kindness, still calls us to Himself. His love is neither muted nor silent. For His love mumbles deliverance, and the devil is beneath us. For He asks us to sit at His right hand side in Christ Jesus, and He shall put all of the enemy's wiles under our feet. For though we fell weak, fatherless, and forgotten, in Him we remember that we have a Father who never fails us. For nothing can separate us from His love unending, not the devil nor his demons. For the liar's lies are powerless against God's grace. So today we stand proudly Christian and proudly forgiven evangelical poet.
Amazing, bro. Amazing, bro.
Thank you.
It is a writing that is meant to be read loud. It is also an oral art that focuses on the aesthetics of wordplay, such as intonation and voice inflection. In simple terms, it is a performance that is word-based and, of course, yes, spoken word poetry. Thank you so much for joining YOUTHPAD today. My name is Francis Ngala, and today it's an amazing Friday, and we have a wonderful talent in studio. Keep tweeting to us through our social media handles at KirkTV_Kenya and Facebook KirkTV. Well, thank you so much, Mr. Evangelical Poet. Perhaps introduce yourself, tell us who you are. Kwanza tuanzie hapo, bro.
I'm Mungai Dennis. I am a student at Kenya Institute of Mass Communication. I'm pursuing broadcast journalism.
BJ.
Yes.
So who is Evangelical Poet?
Evangelical Poet is a stage name to the man that God anointed to share the word through spoken word.
Poet ilianza lini?
I started writing poetry in 2013, September, October, and then I started doing spoken word in 2015, early 2015. That's when I was introduced to spoken word.
So you've been in this industry for 7 years, 7 good years.
Yeah, apparently.
Yes.
Yes.
So you started performing in 2015.
I started performing in 2015.
So all this time 2 years. Is it 2 years? ulikuwa unafanya ama ni research nyingi ulikuwa unafanya?
Yeah, I've been into research, by the way. If you follow my work thoroughly, you'll realize I'm detailed. I don't just choose words because they are words. I use words carefully. I know that every word that is engineered out of my tongue, God is using it to transform somebody's life. So I can't be careless with words as such.
Kazi yenye umefanya hapa sahi, it's all about Christianity, right?
Yeah.
You speak about Christianity. Are you evangelizing? Because jina lako pia Evangelical Poet. It's like you're in a ministry here. Tell us a little bit about
is my ministry. Spoken word is my ministry. And that is why I said that the man God anointed to share the word of God through spoken word is Evangelical Poet. Yeah. So
you've been doing this all through. Why did you choose to do Christian spoken word? Specifically, I know you have a reason for that, because watu wengi wanafanyanga poet to tell experiences, maybe oppression, maybe what's happening in the country, you know. Why did you choose Christian spoken word, if I can say?
I can't really say I chose Christian spoken word. Actually, when I started writing poetry, even when I didn't know whether there was, there is this basis and this basis, I just started writing it from what God was doing in my life. They were testimonies. They might not have mentioned the word God, but I learned in high school that poetry is something that you can use to tell people a message indirectly. So by then I was indirect. So it was, and they also used it to confess what God was saying about my life. I was much inspired by David back then because I used to read the book of Psalms. Psalms 141 and 145 are my favorite chapters, and from reading that book of Psalms, I was able personally to write to God what I felt like I saw David write, and I would tell him my heart as raw as it is, and yeah, that's where I started. So when I saw spoken word, I was like, okay, this is an even better, interesting way of telling the whole world now with my voice the same sweet stories that I share with God, so that it can inspire them and bring them to Christ. And back then I was doing secular in the sense that, yeah, I wrote love poems, and I was also doing gospel. Not that love poems aren't God's poems, it's just that there is a line of sensuality and there is a line of spirituality. So back then I was doing everything. I was telling myself, like other artists do, as long as it has the word God, it is gospel. But it's not as long as it has the word God. God is not, we can't lie to God. And we can't lie to ourselves. So when I decided to now give what I have, it came with sacrifice. That was around 2017, 2018. For one whole year, I didn't perform anywhere. I was just meditating and reading the word of God, so that I can know this God whom I want to share with the world, so that I give people what I have.
That's commendable, because I think you're the first person I'm hearing who is speaking about through poetry, the word of God. Then if I ask you, how was your first piece, and how long did it take you to compose it and just own it and perform it?
Well, that's a complicated question, because when I came into spoken word, I didn't know that these people actually write spoken word then perform it, because I didn't imagine that I would have the capacity of cramming all those pages of pieces that I write.
Then where do you get all these inspiration to write a story?
Back then, yes. I thought that people stand on stage and do spoken word. So I would go on stages, ask what is the theme of this place, yes. Do a spoken word from my head and written. Yes. That is what I was used to doing. I was freestyling. Actually, I mastered the art eventually. Right now, I can basically freestyle about anything. Anything.
You do that tukimalizia.
Yeah. So that came up also.
So where do you get your inspiration to write a story?
When you're too happy, it's an inspiration. When you're too sad, it's an inspiration. When you're angry, it's an inspiration. So when you're, whatever the state you're in, I always feel like every state I'm in is a spoken word in itself.
Talking about a student and also spoken word poet,
yes.
How do you balance studies and also this industry of spoken word? you know, it's a bit challenging. How do you balance it? Especially there's class to attend, there's also assignments to attend to. How do you try and balance all these?
For these 3 years, my first priority is my education. I wouldn't let anything come in between me and my education. If it is meaningful, then it means it needs my attention, and it needs my attention after I'm done with my education. So for now, anything that has to do with classwork is my first priority. Poetry comes second. Although I can't really say poetry, poetry is a ministry. So I'm still in ministry. When I am in school, I attend CU, I share spoken word weekly. At our church, Word of Destiny, Ronga, opposite Nairobi Women, every Sunday I have something new for them. So it doesn't interrupt me. It's like asking me, where do you get time to worship God?
Before we continue, I want you to give us another piece, because it's an amazing, you know, everyone wants to hear a word that you have about Christianity, and what is it about this spoken word that speaks about ministration, just winning souls? I believe so, right?
Yes.
The stage is yours, bro.
Monday morning unakutana na Simon amelewa, somehow nika haezi jielewa. Week after week zinapasa kiwa so high, kukutana naye akiwa soba imekuwa kitu so rare, na try kufigure out ni how, naona tu ni God anaweza mwokoa. Friends wake walimjua so amemneglect, kila mtu ataubeba mzinga wa pombe zake mwenyewe. Na walisema ukienda Rome, do what the Romans do. So hata mimi sijui nichukue kachupa njipige nilewe. But no, si hawa Christian friends wenye niko nao ndo wataniacha. Si hawa Christian friends wenye niko nao ndo wataniacha. Si Simon ni nani? Si Simon ni boy apart from Teye Hungara. Kwa wale wasiomjua huko wenye bado hajachomewa CV kama indichoma, Simon is just a boy ni vile ako hooked and addicted to drugs. Alijitahadhari na weed ndiye akipita sikuweka gari ya moshi, lakini alikuwa na dream ya kuwaka Volvo. So shisha ndo rada, lakini hakuna mtu anajua. So usiambie mtu. Simon ni nani? Simon ni boy mpoa kwa wale waliomuelewa, kwa wale walio understand that Yesu anapenda souls zina stink kae kwa hii mtaa. Si Simon is just a boy ni vile ako hooked and addicted to drugs. Now for real, Simon ni nani? Si Simon ni mimi God, cause ni mimi huenda church daily, son of my praying mother, na jaribu huku na onja God kidogo na enjoy youth zaidi, siko straight, si hata mapasta hawako straight, even ndo mimi ujikonsole. Kwa hivyo daily sio mimi na wewe, daily ni mimi na wewe kuogopa God kidogo, au sio? Simon ni nani? Si Simon ni mimi God, because ni mimi niko hooked on these addictions, because every time I'm alone I doubt if I know you, because all the time I'm alone I'm on to the wrong thoughts and motives. Na hata nikikuserve faithfully before our friends, God, you know well that I'm a drunkard behind locked doors. Na hata wakiniita mzuri, God, please don't tell anyone vile niko na roho chafu. God, please don't tell anyone vile niko na roho chafu. Si Simon ni mimi God niko kwa haya masumbuko ya gossip. Si Simon ni mimi God ni mi watch porn, ni vile sina guts ya kufanya na kufanyiwa practical. Si Simon ni mimi because since I lost my virginity, I'm addicted to myself and other lost souls. Na sijui kama wachache wangekubali my good voice and beautiful looks. Kama wangejua PW doesn't mean praise and worship to me. It means Pima na Y sister, praise and win the first year. Si Simon ni mimi God. But still, si Simon ni mimi when I wanna know God with all my heart. Ni mimi when my salvation isn't about kikombe chafu ndani na nje safi. Si Simon ni mimi when my mother raised me a church goer, but I wanna do more and be more as a believer. Si Simon ni mimi when I know that I'm not a perfect man, so I won't judge another man. Si Simon ni mimi when I daily fall short of God's glory, but I still believe in His forgiveness and grace. Si Simon ni mimi because ni mimi niko glued kwa addictions. I'm addicted to the bottle, I'm addicted to the cigar, I'm addicted to the girlfriend, I'm addicted to the boyfriend, I'm addicted to the movies. I'm addicted to the bottle, I'm addicted to the cigar, I'm addicted to the girlfriend, I'm addicted to the movies. And I realized that there is no satisfaction in all of these things. But there is satisfaction in Jesus. Because mommy, daddy said so. And I want to give Jesus my heart. I do. Nothing and no one is stopping me. Si Simon ni mimi, when I understand that nothing can separate me from the love of God. Evangelical Poet.
Hey, bro, so that's amazing piece. Do you have a reason as to why you did this piece? This piece especially. That's this piece about Simon. And who is this Simon?
Simon ni mimi na wewe. Simon ni mimi na wewe.
Yes.
Yes. It talks to everyone. Whether you are young, whether you are old, Simon ni mimi na wewe.
So what was the reason behind this? What is the reason behind this piece?
Well, this piece was actually inspired by our own Christian lives.
Yes.
I wanted to be real. Someone told me, write a spoken word that talks about drugs to the youth. And then they were telling me I'm going to share this spoken word to a CU congregation. CU, basically, a few people use drugs in the CU. But many people are addicted to sex in the CU.
Yes.
So I decided, let me write about this drunkardness and meet what they want me to write about. But at the same time, because these people are not drunk with drugs, they are drunk with sex, let me also mention it so that people know that, so that everyone is catered for. So that everyone sees themselves in this piece and they understand that at the end of the day, nothing can separate them from the love of God. That Simon is you a good person and it's me a bad person. That Simon is each and every one of us, so I don't have the right to judge you and you don't have the right to judge me.
So as a spoken poet, do you think that spoken poet is a skill that other young people who are watching you should go and get a skill for? Or do you think, is it learned or natural? What's your take on that?
Spoken word, personally, I can say I learned it. And I can say I wanted to quit.
Why? What are the reasons that you wanted to quit? And I can see you're performing so much well.
Well, it took time. It took time. Like the whole of 2015, I was making a fool out of myself.
Yes.
I was messing up. Other poets were going on stage and they were doing their thing and it was amazing. I was going on stage and I really needed work. And
it's been a journey.
Yeah, it's been a journey for me. Poetry has not been that piece of cake for me.
Yes.
I even wrote something about it which I won't share today. I wrote Mimi as a poet. Who am I? Like, where did I start? Where did this journey begin? That is that piece. God willing, I'll launch it on my album.
So what can you say to the young people who have a talent, maybe one earlier talent? They're still trying, they're still making some steps. What can you say to them? Do they keep on watching more spoken words so that they can get a little bit knowledge about the same? Or should they learn? Should they watch on YouTube? What can you say to them? I know we have young men, young boys and girls out there who are looking up to you.
Well, watching lots and lots of poetry does grow you as a poet. It does.
It does.
You start to look like what you're looking at. Do watch more poetry and do write a lot of poetry. Make mistakes. You have the freedom to make mistakes. Before it becomes your profession. Personally, I'm going to do it as a profession eventually. But before it gets there, like, what amount of work are you putting in yourself? How much are you willing to sacrifice and invest in that talent? We waste a lot of time on other things, on movies, on things that we know we can do without, instead of investing in what God has given us. So what is that talent, be it poetry or drawing or whatever it is? What is that you're wasting time instead of focusing on it? Do focus on what you have. Do focus on what you have, because God eventually asks, what do you have? And when you say just a small jar of oil, and then he gets you other jars of oil to fill, at least you'll have something to fill.
So is there any challenges that you face as an upcoming spoken word artist? I believe there are, because we don't make it before challenges. We must face hurdles so that we make it. Is there any challenges that you face, you, not only you actually, because I believe you speak to the other also upcoming spoken word artists. Are there any?
Challenge is money is hard to come by until you have a name.
Financial constraints.
Yeah, you have a financial constraints. And that's why personally I've focused on, I've learned business. I'm a businessman. I sell earphones at school. And that's how I make my pocket money and extra cash for me to go out there and minister with poetry. Mostly, I do sponsor my own transport. It's sacrifice. It's what I was born to do. So sometimes I do give in a lot and loads of energy just so that I can be there to minister through spoken word. I'm not doing this for fame. If you're in this for fame, I'm sorry, you're lost. Because eventually you quit and you focus on something that earns you money. But for those of us that are in this for whatever reason it is God put inside of us, then I'm assuring you that you'll see God come through. It's going to be a profession. In America, it's already a profession. There is this girl I like listening to. She's called Ebony Stewart. She says she's been to around 47 countries in the States just doing poetry. It paid her campus bills. It's paying everything. Poetry is big. Don't undermine yourself just because the people around you can't appreciate you.
So do you remember some of the highest moments that you just made it through spoken word? Some of your highest moments that you did and wow, this was it. Like you felt, my audience has felt it. You have some of them. Maybe you might have performed to a prominent person. Maybe you performed to a crowd and it was amazing. It wowed you. In
terms of prominency, well, being to TV interviews is always a sense of prominency. And also being to events like our campus graduation, sharing poetry that day was really big for me. And also this cultural week in our campus.
KMC.
It is big for me. It is big. And also there is a time I shared and Esther Chibet was in our school. It was actually an event for our school club, Powerhouse. And I shared, and she was so amazed by my poetry until she shared it on her platform, on her Instagram, and somebody was screenshotting it and sending it to me and telling me, wow, Munga, you're going big. Even celebrities know that you're a big fish. No.
So before you give us a freestyle, first of all, I want you to tell me, what do you envision yourself in 20 years to come, in 10 years, in 5 years to come? What do you envision yourself?
Well, currently, I'm focusing on my business. I want to be so much into business that for you to get me out of my business to come and do poetry for you, because you eventually will, you will know that I'm not idle. So if you are real about paying me, you'll pay me. And if it is ministry, God will cater for the needs. But nini, to see starve my artist in the name of ministry, but also we should not starve the ministry in the name of making money. So I'm looking forward to being a big business person in a few years' time, especially after campus. God willing, maybe I'll have my own shop of selling earphones. And by the way, to all the youth out there, there is no small job. There is no such thing as a mediocre job. I sell earphones, and some people look at me and they're like, nimekosa kitu ya kufanya. But actually, right now, I look like a hawker, but that's not what I look like to your eyes in 5 years from now. Yeah, so there is no big job, there is no small job. If you can't work with what you have, then that means you can't basically work. That means you're not even willing to work.
Yes.
Yes.
Tupe maneno sasa. Freestyle.
I told you to give me a random topic so that you don't say nilikuja nikiwa nimepanga.
I want you to take this moment, freestyle about youth who are just in crime. Youth who are engaging themselves in crime.
In crime. Wekelea gun kwa kichwa vizuri. Hawezi ukamiss aim. Especially akifeel chuma ndio iko kwa kichwa. Atatoa kila kitu. Mwambie tutoa kila kitu. Si walitudanganya. Sio lazima ukuwe na papers ndio wakusikilize. Ukiwa na mchuma, watatoa kila kitu. To the last coin, utawacha empty. Utawacha in tears. Utawacha in fear. Kwa sababu wataanza kujiuliza ni matatizo gani haya wanapitia. Ni nini God walikosea? Ndiye akafanya wakapitia haya. Si wakosesha amani tangu juzi. Tangu juzi umalize shule. And then ukajiona bawabu. Hadi ukaacha shule kwa sababu tu ya kupata ganji rahisi. Si pesa muhimu, vile utaipata haija